As I begin to wrap up a story of my life with you guys, there's a couple of things that I really would like for you to take away from my personal experience. Because I know that most people have experienced some aspect, if not all people, have experienced some aspect of what I've went through in my life. Some more, some less, but nevertheless, we all experience some similarities in our life as human beings. Uh, make no mistake about it. And that's why I always say, that I'm speaking to the world. I don't have no specific demographic, that I'm trying to reach. I'm speaking to all human beings, you know, and hope that someone and some of you can glean something from my life and get a better understanding on some of the things that we have in common that you might can bring some resolution to. But there's a couple of things that I really would like for you to take away from this whole entire ordeal of mine, because it's really what I'm really trying to what I've been trying to really convey throughout my story, to give it some type of therapeutic bent, if you will, instead of just telling a story. But I want to, add a therapeutic bent to it, and in that, you can use those tools, that knowledge, as you go back and revisit some, you know, uh, hurtful or painful or dark times in your life to try to bring perspective to it, shed light on it in order for you to grow and move on in a more healthier way for yourselves. And what I really would want you guys to notice and take note of is behavioral patterns and how they link together throughout the various stages of our lives. Steve starting out as a child. And in particular, in my situation, childhood abandonment. Excuse me, childhood abandonment. So I was letting you guys know that my mother abandoned me. My parents abandoned me at 7. And then my uncle passed. And as a child, you can perceive a loss, a death, as a form of abandonment, especially if that person was providing a certain protection for you. And my uncle gave me that sense of protection, that sense of comfort. And when he got murdered, I felt I was abandoned, left alone all again, And then, to feel abandoned in your own household, like, you don't feel protected, like anyone really care, about your feelings, about what you're thinking about. That's another sense of abandonment, even though you're right up under the same roof with the people that's taking care of you. That's another form of abandonment. So that leads to emotional disturbances, like a sense of loss, hopelessness, neglect, hurt, anger. You know, you don't know why you haven't made these connections why you're feeling this way, but things has happened to you, you know, it, and that provoked these feelings. And you're carrying these feelings with you throughout your various stages of your life, your childhood, your adolescency, your young adulthood, your middle age. even up until senior age. A lot of us carrying that stuff with us our whole life and don't even know that it started as a child. All these emotions and stuff was developed early in your life, and you don't even know they were. You just going through life the best you can, trying to figure out, make sure you got your basics, your kids can eat, got clothes on their back, you working, jobs, and you know what I mean? So you ain't trying to put all this other internal stuff, that's these interplays of emotions and mental concepts. You ain't trying to put all that together. I mean, you do the best you can, with how you resolve your own, problems in your life the best you can. But if you're not really giving the real, in-depth insight on how these things affect you, you don't know. They just affecting you, period. And so knowing, that's one interplay going on, taking place in your life, abandonment, and the hurt and the anger and the neglect and the hopelessness that it gives you. You carrying that with you forward. And then something like a childhood sexual assault happened to you. Mind you, doing all this other stuff going on mentally and emotionally that you're getting, and and then in my particular case, my neighbor at 7 sexual assaulted me. Then I went to the to the country for that short period of time and witnessed my cousin, sexual assault a woman. I witnessed this as a child. I got sexual assault, witnessed a sexual assault, and then get few years, like a year or two later, I go to Chicago, the little girl sexualized me, you know what I'm saying? And then once she sexualized me that way, you know what I'm saying, then I reversed it, and just follow suit with my cousin, and so I'm putting all these things together. Now I go to LA. I'm an adult now. I go to LA. I'm strung out. Things ain't going right. I engage in some sexual deviant behavior that went against my morals and principles and the essence of my being and who I am. And then I bail myself out and go to the military and go through that whole ordeal. And then a few years later, 3, 4 years later, I end up creating a sexual assault on an adult that cost me a great number of years of my life. All this stuff is happening, these patterns, behavioral patterns, you see how they link over time and they build up, and they building up, and they playing out in your life. You don't put them together when you're doing it. When these things are happening to you, you don't link all this stuff. Oh, it started there. Then I remember I did that. Then I did that. Then I did that. Then I did that. And then it morphed into something bigger. But at the same time, I'm having these abandonment issues going on. Nobody give a fuck. Everybody dumping me, bailing out on me. Ain't nobody give a fuck. Nobody care. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling lost, hopeless, neglect, hurt. You know what I'm saying? Angry. At the same time, all this goes, so I'm confused. I can't think. I got all this deviant shit going on, and I'm emotional and mental stuff. And then at the same time, I got all these mental distortions taking place. Because I want to be loved, but I'm giving my concept of love to people who are neglecting me. But I'm trying to find a way to love them, and trying to find a way to feel that they love me in some kind of way, because that's what I need. So my concept of love is distorted because they don't love me. They're abusing me, they're neglecting me, they abandon me, they don't love me. But because I want to be loved by my family so profoundly, I still look through all that and say they love me. when they're abusing me. That's what you do as a child. You don't want to have the development, you know what I'm saying, to figure all this stuff out. Then they just go leapfrog over from one stage of life to the next stage. You was a child, now you're a teenager, you're going through the same stuff. Then a young adult, you're going through the same distortions. They still treat you the same way. You still say, they get around on the holiday, they like, hey, hi. And you falling for that shit because of your family. So you're experiencing mental distortion, emotional disturbances throughout your whole life, and you don't even know it. You know, so, and so you get all these different combinations of things, you know, happening to you, and you don't even have the thinking skills to figure it out. Because you, for the most part, you don't even know what's happening. You don't even know what's going on that level. So how can you fix something you don't know exists? That's what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of us going through that right now. Billions of people going through that right now. They don't know. They just doing the best they can. But don't even realize that they're mentally and emotionally trapped and can't figure a way out. So some of them allow themselves to be abused. Some of them, you know, go into self-destruction, alcohol, drugs, abuse, you know what I'm saying? Inflicting, you know, getting in trouble through crime, not giving a fuck, you know what I'm saying? Not caring, really. You know, so, so if it's, you know, not knowing how these things are playing on our mental and emotional development is very critical. And I just want to encourage people, you know, to don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be ashamed to ask for help. Try to find a therapist, someone you know that'll keep you, that'll hold whatever you say in confidant. If you can find a family member or a friend that you feel they can hold what you say to them in confidant for, you know, and until you get to a place of healing within yourself. You know, find somebody, speak, you know. If you feeling these ways, you feeling this intense, you know, underpinning, you know, emotions and distortions inside yourself, you feeling some kind of way, seek some help, man. You know, I encourage you to. That's why I'm sharing my story. I'm letting you know that no matter what you've been through in life, you can still snap back because you got that bounce back in you because God gave you that. He gave it to us all, the ability to bounce back. But we have to choose it. You know, like I say, he gave us a mind, you know, but we have to develop it. We have to, you know, seek wisdom and knowledge and understanding from the wise, from those who know more than we do, but someone that we can trust, who's not going to judge us, beat us all upside the head, try to make us feel shame, and try to use it against us, you know, to make us think we need them now that we done told them their secret. Now they want to use, you know, threaten like, yeah, I know your secret now. I wish you would try something now. I'm going to use you to death because, you know, I know you don't want me to tell nobody. You don't want nobody like that. That's why it's good to go to a therapist, but, you know, therapist client privilege. You can't do that by law. But my little brother is my confidant. You know, I talk to him about everything. He's the world best therapist. He's a minister. He's a bishop. You know, so he's the world best therapist as far as I'm concerned because he know we've been through the same thing. He know what I know, and I know what he know, what we experienced together. So we still learning together. But he, you know, while I was locked up, he was resolving his stuff. You know, I was just trying to survive and get up out of there. But when I got out and I hooked up with him, we chopped it up, went back down through that thing, and got some straightening in our lives. And we look back on all that stuff now, we laugh about it because we got some healing. The vast majority of my family, they ain't dealing with it. And they've been hating on us for so long, me and my brother, for so long, and we ain't never did nothing to them. But we got the answer and the solution for them to help them. But they're so proud, they would never dare ask us anything because they think they better than us. Been dogging us since we was kids for no reason, just because we was from New York, talking proper and looking good and shit. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna dog the kids out because our parents dumped us off on y'all parents or whatever. Now you gonna, hate on your own family, your own blood. From a child all the way up to the day, the vast majority of them. They got issues, but they wouldn't come to me and my brother. We resolved, we cool, we got healing. We moving on, living our best life. I got stage 4 cancer. I'm living my best life still because of the mindset, because of the healing that I got. Nothing can break that. Nothing can stop that. Nothing can change that when you get that healing, when you get that breakthrough, and that light bulb come on and the weight of the world come off your shoulder. You feel free as a bird.